If you are hearing this now, understand, this moment is not an accident. Life has a way of whispering to us before a great turning point. And for you, that turning point is closer than you think. The next 24 hours could change everything, not because of luck, not because of chance, but because of one shift: your inner world. Right now, what you accept as true will command the events of your day, your week, and perhaps your life. The outer world does not lead, it follows. The world is not showing you facts, it is showing you echoes of the beliefs you have been holding. If you choose today to walk as the person you desire to be, not tomorrow, not someday, but now, then in the next 24 hours, you will see signs, alignments, and movements that prove reality is bending to your decision. Do not wait for proof before you believe. That is not how creation works. The moment you assume it is already yours, you plant a seed in the unseen, and in ways you cannot yet predict, life begins to conspire, rearranging the stage so that what you have claimed appears right where you stand. Feel it now, deeply, vividly, what it would be like if everything you wanted was already here. Walk in that feeling as if it were the most natural thing in the world. When you do, time collapses, and what you thought was far away rushes toward you. So if you are seeing this, take it as your sign. The next 24 hours are not ordinary hours. They are an open doorway. Step through with faith, with certainty, and with the quiet knowing that life is already working for you. Most people believe that transformation is a slow process, that it requires years of grinding, waiting, and proving yourself before anything truly changes. This belief alone is the very reason their lives remain the same year after year. They are trapped in the idea that time is the master, that the future holds the answer, and that they must wait for conditions to be right before they can live the life they desire. But the truth is far more powerful and far more immediate. Change can happen in a single moment, a single decision, a single shift in the way you see yourself and your world. In this very instant, you are holding the steering wheel of your reality. The thoughts you are entertaining, the feelings you are allowing, and the assumptions you are making are shaping what happens next. There is no delay in creation. There is only the delay in your recognition of it. The outer world is simply the reflection of your inner state. And when you change your state of mind, reality must respond. You may think, but how can my life change in a day? The answer is simple. Everything begins inside. The circumstances you see right now are the result of past patterns of thought, past assumptions, and past emotions. If those patterns have been holding you back, then a radical shift today can end them instantly. You do not have to slowly chip away at the old version of yourself. You can drop it entirely and step into the new one now. Imagine waking up tomorrow and walking through your day as if you were already living your desired life. Not pretending, not hoping, being. You carry yourself differently. You speak with quiet certainty. You move with a sense of purpose. You no longer question whether you deserve it or whether it's possible. You simply live from the truth that it is already yours. This shift in identity, this choice to inhabit your desired reality now, sends an unshakable signal to life itself, and life responds quickly. Opportunities appear where there were none before. Conversations change. People treat you differently. Your own mind begins to see possibilities that were invisible only hours earlier. It's not that the world suddenly becomes magical. It's that you have finally aligned with what you wanted, and now you are in position to receive it. The power of immediacy lies in understanding that you do not have to climb a long ladder to reach the life you want. You can step into it now in consciousness and allow the events, resources, and connections to arrange themselves. You are not moving toward your desire, It is moving toward you the moment you claim it. Think about the times in your life when something changed in an instant. Perhaps you received a phone call that altered your plans completely. Maybe you met someone unexpectedly who became a defining part of your story. Or you had an idea that led to an entirely new path. Those moments did not take years to build. They happened in seconds. This is how life works when you are open to change and ready to receive. Right now, if you choose to, you can abandon the idea that you must wait for something outside yourself to improve. You can decide that this moment is enough. You can decide that you are already worthy, already capable, already in possession of what you desire in your inner world. And that decision is the spark. From there, the next 24 hours can become a doorway to a different reality. Because when you shift your state of mind, you are not just changing your mood, you are changing the entire direction of your life. And life is ready to meet you in your new state as soon as you choose it. There is a simple but life-altering truth. What you assume to be true becomes your reality. This is not a matter of wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is the way creation works. The world you see around you is nothing more than a mirror reflecting back the assumptions you have been holding, whether you are aware of them or not. Every result, every circumstance, every relationship in your life is shaped by the quiet convictions you carry inside. The law of assumption is not about waiting for proof before you believe. It is about believing first without hesitation and allowing that belief to solidify so deeply within you that it becomes your natural state. When you live from the end, when you feel, think, and act as though your desired outcome is already here, you are not forcing reality to bend. You are simply aligning yourself with the reality that was already available to you, waiting for your acceptance. Most people live in the opposite way. They think, I will believe it when I see it. They let what they see dictate what they feel, and in doing so, they remain trapped in the same loop. They do not realize that reality is obedient to their inner world, not the other way around. The moment you reverse this, when you start saying, I will see it because I believe it, you take control of the script. You become the writer, not just the actor. Assuming the outcome is already yours is not about pretending or playing make-believe. It is about choosing to identify yourself as the person who already has what you want. It is about carrying yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows the result is guaranteed. This inner stance communicates a clear message to life. This is who I am now, and life responds accordingly, reshaping the people, events, and circumstances around you to reflect your new identity. This is why change can feel almost magical when you practice it correctly. Once you assume your desired reality, subtle shifts begin to happen. You notice opportunities that were invisible before. You meet people who can help you. You make decisions that align with the version of you who already has the outcome. These changes are not coincidences. They are the natural rearrangement of reality to match your assumption. Think about how you move through life when you know something is certain. If you had already been offered your dream job, you wouldn't wake up worried about whether you are qualified. If the money was already in your account, you wouldn't question how to pay your bills. If the love you wanted was already in your life, you wouldn't spend the day wondering if it will happen. You would walk, speak, and act differently, naturally, without effort. This is the state you must inhabit now before the outer proof appears. When you hold this assumption with persistence, doubts will come, but they are powerless unless you give them life. Reality has no choice but to bend to the dominant assumption you hold. Just as a seed contains within it the image of the plant it will become, your assumption contains the blueprint of the life that must unfold. The outer world is only the soil. It is your inner belief that determines what grows. If you assume struggle, delay, and lack, the world will faithfully deliver it. If you assume ease, abundance, and success, it will deliver that instead. The law does not discriminate. It only responds. This is why you must be deliberate in your assumptions, refusing to accept any image of life that contradicts what you truly desire. When you live from the outcome rather than toward it, you collapse the time it takes for it to appear. You step into a state where the end is already accomplished, and from there reality simply fills in the details. You are no longer chasing, it is already done, and everything else is just the unfolding of the path you have claimed. The moment you accept something as true in your inner world, life begins to weave together the unseen threads that lead you to it. This process is often invisible at first, but it is as real and precise as the movement of the stars. The bridge of events is the unseen path between where you are now and the fulfillment of your desire. It is built the instant you claim the end result as yours, and each step upon it comes naturally, without the strain of forcing or controlling. You do not need to know how this bridge will appear, nor do you need to map out every step in advance. In fact, trying to control it often slows the process, because the bridge of events is not built from logic, it is built from alignment. Once you believe, once you feel the reality of your desire is accomplished, life arranges itself in ways your mind could never predict. People you have never met, circumstances you could not have imagined, and opportunities you never considered begin to emerge. Sometimes this bridge appears in ways that seem ordinary at first: a casual conversation, a small invitation, a sudden thought to take a different route home. But looking back, you realize these seemingly small steps were the essential links in the chain that led you to exactly what you wanted. That is the nature of the bridge. It unfolds naturally, as though life is carrying you forward without effort. It is important to understand that you are not the builder of the bridge. You are the traveler. Your only task is to remain faithful to the end you have chosen, to live as if it is already yours, and to trust that each step you take is leading you there. Doubt, fear, and impatience are like turning back midway, questioning whether the bridge even exists. But if you hold to your vision, the bridge will carry you to the fulfillment of it with perfect precision. Sometimes, the bridge of events may not look like progress. You might experience moments that seem like setbacks, delays, or even detours. But these are often the very steps that must occur to align the pieces in your favor. The bridge is not always straight. It may curve, dip, or twist, but every part of it is essential to bringing your desire into tangible form. Trust that even when it appears nothing is happening, the foundation is being laid in the unseen. Think of how many times in life you have ended up somewhere you never planned to be. Yet looking back, you can trace every event that led there. One meeting led to another, one choice opened a door, one coincidence changed everything. None of these events seemed monumental on their own, yet together they formed the perfect path. This is the bridge of events in action. The beauty of this process is that you cannot miss your bridge when you hold the end in mind. Every action you take, every decision you make while living in the feeling or the wish fulfilled is part of the unfolding. You might meet a stranger, find a book, receive unexpected news, or suddenly feel inspired to take a certain step. These are not random. They are the planks of the bridge being placed beneath your feet as you walk. And when you finally arrive at the fulfillment of your desire, you will see how perfectly every moment aligned. You will understand that nothing was wasted, nothing was out of place, and even the parts you once doubted were essential. The bridge of events is life's way of delivering your desire into your hands, step by step, without strain, without guesswork. Once you have dared to believe. There comes a point in life when hesitation must end, when weighing possibilities and waiting for perfect timing only delays the inevitable. That point is the moment of decision, the instant you make an unshakable choice about who you are and what your life will be. It is not a vague hope, not a wish you revisit from time to time, but a deep final declaration in the quiet of your own heart. This is who I am now. In that moment, destiny begins to move. A true decision carries a power that ordinary choices do not. Most people think they are deciding when in reality they are only considering. They say, "I'll try," or "I hope so," but those words are drenched in doubt. A real decision has no back door. It has no "if it works out" clause. It is the burning of the bridge behind you, the closing of every escape route back to the old life. You do not leave space for the old self to return, because the old self no longer exists. When you decide with conviction, you shift your identity instantly. You no longer think, "I want to be this person." You begin to be this person in thought, feeling, and action. That shift is immediate, and the outer world cannot help but respond. Life will start to reorganize itself around your new stance, because you have stopped sending mixed signals. You are no longer asking and doubting in the same breath. You have claimed it as done. The power of decision is not in the force of will, but in the clarity of knowing. It is a quiet, steady recognition that your path is set and nothing will turn you from it. From that point forward, everything you do, consciously and unconsciously, aligns with the reality you have chosen. The conversations you have, the places you go, the opportunities you recognize, all of them begin to match your decision. Many fear making such a choice because they feel they must have every step planned before they commit. But the moment of decision does not require that you know the how. It only requires that you fix the what with such certainty that the how naturally unfolds. When you choose decisively, you invite life to deliver the means, the connections, and the circumstances to make it real. This is why indecision is so costly. It keeps you stuck between two worlds. You say you want change, but you keep one foot in the old life, thinking you can wait until you see signs before you fully commit. But signs follow decision, not the other way around. The moment you close the door on the old and step fully into the new, signs appear everywhere, affirming that you are on the right path. Think of moments in history, in stories, or even in your own life, when a single decision changed everything. A choice to move to a new city, to start a business, to end something that no longer served you. At the time, the path ahead was unclear, but the decision itself ignited a series of events that shaped everything that followed. That is the nature of true commitment. It activates the unseen forces that align reality to your will. When you reach this moment, there is a stillness inside you. You no longer debate, you no longer seek validation, you no longer ask if you're ready, you decide that you are. That inner stillness is not passivity, it is strength. It is the unspoken command to life that says, "It is done." And from that instant, the people, opportunities, and circumstances begin to shift. Destiny is not something you wait for. It is something you choose. And the moment you choose with unwavering conviction, you are no longer drifting, you are creating, you are directing, you are stepping into a life that must now meet you on the terms you have set. Everything that will happen in your life begins first in the invisible world of feeling. Your emotions are not fleeting reactions with no consequence. They are the creative force that sets the tone for what you experience next. The way you feel right now is not just a response to your current circumstances. It is a seed being planted, and that seed will grow into the reality you meet tomorrow, next week, or next year. This is why feeling is the true gateway to change. Most people try to change their lives by rearranging external conditions, believing that once the outer world shifts, then they will finally feel happy, secure, loved, or abundant. But this approach is backwards. The outer world is only a reflection of the inner one, and until you choose to feel differently, the reflection remains the same. If you want a different outcome, you must first feel the state of having it now, before there is any evidence. Your feelings act as the signal you send out to life. If you constantly feel lack, frustration, and doubt, you are broadcasting those states, and reality reflects them back to you with matching events. But if you feel gratitude, certainty, and joy as though your desire is already accomplished, you begin to align with a completely different set of possibilities. The change is not forced. It is a natural consequence of the energy you are radiating. Think of a gardener. They do not plant thorns and expect roses. They choose the seed based on the harvest they desire. In the same way, you cannot plant feelings of fear and expect a future of safety, or feelings of scarcity and expect a life of abundance. You must choose your emotional seed with intention, knowing that whatever you nurture within will eventually appear without. This does not mean you should suppress or deny unwanted feelings. It means you must recognize them as signals, indicators of what you are currently planting, and then consciously choose differently. If fear arises, acknowledge it without judgment, then gently shift into the feeling of security. If doubt appears, meet it with a feeling of certainty. In doing so, you are not ignoring reality. You are shaping it. The key is to make the desired feeling so real within you that it becomes your natural state. If you want wealth, feel the relief and freedom of already having it. If you want love, feel the warmth and connection as though it is here now. If you want success, feel the confidence and satisfaction of it being accomplished. Let these feelings saturate your imagination until they feel more real than anything in your current surroundings. When you live in this emotional state consistently, you stop waiting for the outer world to give you permission to feel good. You are no longer dependent on circumstances for your joy, and that is precisely when circumstances begin to change in your favor. You have stepped into the role of creator rather than reactor. There is a quiet strength in living this way. You begin to notice that the gap between feeling and manifestation shortens. Small coincidences turn into larger alignments. People and opportunities that match your emotional state appear without strain. Life starts to feel as though it is moving with you, not against you, because you have opened the gateway through feeling. Your feelings are not powerless. They are the blueprint of your future. Every time you choose the feeling that matches your desired reality, you are walking through that gateway. And each time you walk through, the world on the other side becomes more visible, more tangible, and eventually completely undeniable. When you want something, the natural impulse is to look at your current life, see the absence of it, and then try to work toward it. But this approach keeps the desire in the future always just out of reach. The real key is to live as though it has already happened, to carry yourself in complete alignment with the reality you want, not the one you see now. By doing this, you collapse the distance between yourself and your desire. You no longer wait for it. You meet it halfway in consciousness. And then it meets you far quicker than you expect. Living as though it has happened is not pretending or playing make-believe. Pretending implies that you are acting out something you know is not real. This is different. This is stepping into the identity of the person who already possesses what they desire and making that identity your truth. You are no longer wanting or hoping, you are being. You speak from the end, think from the end, and carry yourself with the assurance that it is already yours. Every action, every thought, and every word becomes an extension of this new reality. You no longer say, I will be successful. You say, I am successful. You no longer think, one day I'll have love. You think, love is already a part of my life. The language you use and the way you hold yourself reflect the reality you have chosen, not the one you are leaving behind. This shift creates a powerful ripple effect. The people around you begin to respond differently. You find yourself making choices that align with your new identity rather than your old habits. You notice opportunities that you would have overlooked before because you are now seeing through the eyes of the person you have become. The most remarkable part is how natural this can feel once you commit to it. At first, it may seem like a conscious effort, catching yourself when you speak about the future as though it is distant, reminding yourself to think from the perspective of already done. But with persistence, this state becomes automatic. You no longer need to remind yourself because it has become who you are. When you live this way, life has no choice but to mirror you. The outer world will always reflect the inner one, and if your inner state is one of completion and fulfillment, then completion and fulfillment must show up in your external circumstances. It might come through sudden opportunities, unexpected help, or a sequence of events that seem perfectly orchestrated. However it arrives, it will feel natural, because you have already been living in that reality. One of the greatest benefits of this way of living is the peace it brings. When you know that it is already done, you stop chasing, you stop forcing. You stop living in the anxious energy of when will it happen. Instead, you rest in the quiet confidence of it is here. That calm certainty is magnetic. It draws the fulfillment to you without strain. It is also important to understand that living as though it has happened does not mean ignoring your current responsibilities or reality. It means approaching them with the mindset and feeling of someone who is already where they want to be. The version of you who has the life you desire is not desperate or doubtful. They are certain, composed, and aligned. Live that way now, and you step into their shoes before the world has even caught up. When it does catch up, it will feel seamless. You will look around and realize that the reality you are walking in internally has become your external world. The conversations, the surroundings, the people, and the opportunities will all match the inner reality you have been inhabiting. This is not magic. It is alignment. It is the inevitable meeting of the inner and outer worlds when you choose to live as though it has already happened. Everything you desire is not waiting for years to arrive. It is already here in potential, ready to take form the moment you align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with it. By deciding with conviction, feeling as if it's done, and living as though it has already happened, you activate the unseen forces that rearrange life in your favor. The bridge of events will carry you step by step to the fulfillment of your desire, and you will witness how quickly reality responds when you walk in the certainty of your vision. The next 24 hours are not just another day. They are an open doorway. Step through with faith and watch everything change. Thanks, Lion. Thank you for listening, and may you walk in the knowing that what you seek is already yours. Stand still for a moment. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Before you reach for the ticket, remember this: reality is not set in stone. What you believe in the depths of your soul will be mirrored back to you. This wealth is already mine. The numbers are chosen for me. The outcome is fixed in my favor. I do not wish to win. I have already won. Feel the truth of these words sink into your being. Let the excitement of already possessing the prize rush through your body. Smile as though you are holding the proof in your hands. You are not begging, not hoping, not waiting. You are receiving what is already yours. Walk away from the purchase as if the universe has already arranged your victory. The moment you stop doubting, the moment you release all resistance, the unseen forces begin to work. Reality is not something fixed and external, independent of your perception. It is fluid, shaped entirely by the contents of your imagination. What you see with your physical eyes is merely the shadow of what you have first seen within yourself. The world outside of you is a reflection, a mirror that faithfully echoes the images you hold in your mind. If you can grasp this truth, you will understand that everything you experience is first born in the unseen world of thought. Before any great achievement, before any success, It existed as a certainty in the mind of the one who attained it. When you accept that imagination is the only reality, you free yourself from the illusion that circumstances dictate your life. The truth is that circumstances conform to the assumptions you persist in holding. Nothing in your external world has power over you unless you grant it authority through your beliefs. The wealthy man did not become wealthy by merely working harder than others. He first saw himself as prosperous, felt the wealth as his, and the world conspired to bring it into being. The successful artist did not become great by accident. He first imagined himself recognized and celebrated, and his vision shaped the events of his life. Every invention, every breakthrough, every moment of triumph in history was first conceived in the mind before it became visible to all. This principle applies to every aspect of your life. If you wish to change your reality, you must begin by changing the way you see yourself. You must hold within your mind the image of the person you wish to be, not as a distant hope but as a present fact. The mistake many make is believing that they must first see proof before accepting something as true. They wait for the world to convince them before they believe. But the world does not work that way. It responds not to what you hope for, but to what you accept as reality within. If you wish to be victorious, you must first see yourself as victorious. If you wish to be wealthy, you must first see yourself as wealthy. If you wish to be loved, you must first feel yourself surrounded by love. Imagination is not daydreaming. It is not wishful thinking. It is the most powerful force at your disposal, capable of altering the course of your life. When you imagine with conviction, when you assume that what you desire is already yours, you set unseen forces into motion. The people you need, the opportunities required, the circumstances that align, all of these are drawn to you as a reflection of your inner state. But if you continue to see yourself as lacking, if you continue to dwell in thoughts of limitation, the world can only give you more of the same. Before taking any action, pause and see yourself as already victorious. Do not wait for something outside of you to change. Change first within yourself. Walk in the assumption that you are already the person you wish to be. Speak as though your desires are fulfilled. Feel the emotions you would feel if your goal were already accomplished. When you operate from this place, you will notice the world shifting around you. Doors will open where none seem to exist. Solutions will appear effortlessly. Events will unfold in your favor without force or struggle. Many struggle because they look at their current circumstances and allow them to dictate what they believe is possible. But to live this way is to be a slave to appearances. Do not be fooled by what you see. What exists today is simply the outpicturing of old thoughts and beliefs. If you want a new future, you must plant new seeds in your mind. And once planted, you must trust that they will grow. The farmer does not dig up his crops every day to check if they are growing. He knows that in due time they will emerge. So too must you trust that what you have imagined is already in motion, even if you cannot yet see the evidence. Doubt is the great destroyer of dreams. The moment you question whether what you have imagined is real, you pull yourself back into the old reality. You must persist in your assumption, regardless of what the world around you suggests. If you can hold firm to your inner vision, refusing to be swayed by appearances, the world must conform. It has no choice. The outer world is always the servant of the inner world. You do not need permission from the world to become what you desire. You do not need validation from others to claim your success. You only need to decide within yourself that it is already yours. The moment you make that decision, reality bends to accommodate it. No force in the universe can stop a man or woman who is convinced of their own success. The world simply reflects back the image they have accepted as true. So take this truth and make it your own. Close your eyes and see yourself victorious. Walk, speak, and think as though your goal is already accomplished. Let go of doubt. Let go of waiting. The power is already within you, waiting to be claimed. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. and watch as the world transforms before your very eyes. Every event in your life, every outcome you experience is a direct reflection of the feelings you have persistently entertained. The world around you is not happening to you by chance. It is unfolding in response to the emotions you have accepted as real. What you feel deeply, what you embody with conviction, becomes the foundation upon which your future is built. It is not enough to simply go through the motions, to perform actions mechanically, hoping they will lead to your desired result. The true power lies in the feeling that accompanies those actions. Imagine for a moment that you are holding a lottery ticket in your hand. The slip of paper itself holds no magic, it is just a physical object. But as you hold it, what do you feel? Do you feel uncertainty, hoping that maybe, just maybe, this will be the one? Or do you feel an unwavering certainty, as though the outcome is already written in your favor? This distinction is everything. The person who purchases the ticket while dwelling in doubt, in desperation, in fear of lack, is unknowingly reinforcing that very state of being. They are sending out a signal of uncertainty, and the world will reflect that uncertainty right back to them. But there is another way. Before you even step forward to buy the ticket, you must align yourself with the reality you wish to experience. You must summon the feeling of certainty, the sensation of already possessing that which you seek. The numbers are not random. They are chosen in response to your inner conviction. The wealth is not something you are chasing. It is something that already belongs to you in the unseen, and you are simply allowing it to take shape in your world. The moment you embody this truth, you shift the course of events in your favor. Many believe they must wait for external proof before they allow themselves to feel the joy of success. They wait for the bank account to change, for the phone call to come, for the confirmation to appear before they dare to believe. But this is living in reverse. It is not the evidence that creates the feeling. It is the feeling that calls forth the evidence. The universe does not respond to idle wishes. It responds to the conviction of already having received. Consider the way a child dreams. When they imagine themselves as a great adventurer, a hero, a ruler of their own world, they do not pause to question whether it is logical or realistic. They step fully into the feeling of the experience, and for them, in that moment, it is real. There is no resistance, no hesitation, no looking over their shoulder for proof. This is the secret that so many have forgotten: to embody a reality within before it ever appears outside of them. You must cultivate this same childlike certainty. Close your eyes and feel the weight of abundance in your hands. Hear the words of excitement spoken to you as if they are already happening. Let the emotions of joy, relief, and gratitude rise within you, not as something you are trying to force, but as something that is naturally there because you know, beyond all doubt, that your desire is already fulfilled. Walk through your day with the quiet assurance that what you have accepted as true within must now take form without. This is where most falter. They allow the world around them to dictate their feelings instead of realizing that their feelings dictate the world. They look at their current circumstances and allow those appearances to convince them that nothing is changing. But do not be deceived by the temporary. What you see now is simply the outpicturing of past emotions, past assumptions, past beliefs. If you wish to see a new reality, you must generate a new feeling, independent of what your senses tell you. Imagine the outcome you desire and step into the feeling of it being done. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. If you had already won, how would you carry yourself? How would you speak? How would you move through life? Assume that posture, that energy, that state of being. The world will conform. It must. Your role is not to figure out how it will happen. Your role is not to stress over the path it will take. Your role is to hold fast to the feeling of already possessing your desire, to live in the certainty that what you have claimed in your imagination is as real as the ground beneath your feet. When you do this, the unseen forces begin their work. The right circumstances, the right events, the right opportunities will emerge, not because you are forcing them, but because you are aligned with them. You do not have to hope. You do not have to wish. You only have to feel. That feeling, once truly accepted, is more powerful than any external effort. The moment you shift within, the world shifts to match you. Accept this truth, live by it, and watch as your reality transforms before your very eyes. The greatest secret to shaping your reality lies in the simple yet profound understanding that the world is nothing more than a mirror, reflecting back to you the convictions you hold within. The moment you assume something to be true, the world arranges itself to prove you right. It does not matter whether you consider yourself lucky or unfortunate, wealthy or poor, victorious or defeated. What you accept as real in your imagination becomes the blueprint upon which your life is built. The key is to assume the end is already done, to walk in the certainty that your desire is not something you are chasing, but something that is already yours. Most people live their lives reacting to what they see, believing that they must wait for external proof before they can truly believe in a new reality. But this is living in reverse. If you wait for the evidence before you believe, you will never see the evidence. The world does not bring you what you wish for. It brings you what you believe to be true. The moment you assume the state of already having your desire, the moment you truly embody that reality within, the world begins its work to reflect it back to you. Think of an actor who steps onto the stage. He does not hesitate, wondering if he is truly the character he is playing. He simply assumes the role, embodying it so fully that the audience has no choice but to accept it as real. This is the level of conviction you must carry within yourself. You are not someone who is hoping, wishing, or waiting. You are someone who has already arrived. The moment you assume the state of your fulfilled desire, reality moves to confirm your assumption. Imagine for a moment that you have already achieved your goal, whatever it may be. Wealth, success, love, health. See yourself on the other side of the victory. Feel what it is like to live in that state. If you had already won, how would you walk? How would you talk? How would you feel when you woke up in the morning? What thoughts would fill your mind? Step into that version of yourself right now and refuse to waver. If you can hold that assumption long enough without allowing doubts to creep in, your outer world will have no choice but to conform. This is not a matter of tricking yourself or pretending. It is a matter of fully accepting a new reality within. When you assume something is true with absolute certainty, you no longer question it, nor do you allow anything in the outside world to convince you otherwise. If you plant a seed and believe in its growth, you do not constantly dig it up to check if it is sprouting. You trust in the unseen process, knowing that in due time the evidence will appear. This is how you must treat your assumptions. Many people fail because they allow doubt to overpower their conviction. They say they believe in their desire, but the moment they see no immediate proof, they waver. They question, they worry, they seek reassurance, and in doing so, they unknowingly reaffirm the absence of their desire. But the one who truly assumes the end is already done does not need external validation. They walk in certainty, knowing that what they have claimed internally must materialize. Consider for a moment the way the world reacts to those who carry absolute conviction. When someone believes in themselves with unshakable certainty, others begin to believe in them too. This is not because of external proof, but because their confidence shapes the perception of reality. The same principle applies to all things. If you assume the end is already done, if you move through life with the quiet confidence of someone who has already won, the world will reflect that back to you. Your senses may try to deceive you, showing you evidence of the old reality. Do not be fooled. What you see is only a reflection of past assumptions, past beliefs, past emotions. If you persist in assuming your new reality, the old must fade away and the new must take its place. This is not wishful thinking, it is the law by which reality operates. The outer world is a delayed reflection of the inner world. Change within, and the external must follow. Hold firm to your assumption and do not waver. Do not seek signs, do not look for proof, do not question whether it is working. Simply know that it is done. When you assume the end is already accomplished, you take on a new way of being. Your actions, your thoughts, your emotions all align with the new reality, and this alignment is what calls forth the manifestation. You are not waiting for the world to change. You are changing your state of being, and the world must follow. The moment you stop trying to achieve and instead step into the knowing that it is already yours, everything shifts. You no longer act from desperation, from lack, from uncertainty. You act from fulfillment, from completion, from the unwavering knowledge that what you desire is already a part of your world. The game is not about chasing. It is about assuming. Assume it is done, and watch as the world bends to make it so. There is a deep and powerful truth that governs all creation. What you assume to be true in your mind will inevitably be reflected in your reality. But to master this process, you must release your grip on the how and when. Your role is not to micromanage the details or force events into existence. Your only task is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to rest in the certainty that what you desire is already yours, and to allow the natural flow of life to bring it into form. The more you try to control the mechanics of manifestation, the more you introduce resistance. Let go, trust, and know that what you seek is seeking you. Many struggle with this concept because they have been conditioned to believe that effort, struggle, and logical planning are necessary to achieve results. They analyze, strategize, and exhaust themselves trying to figure out exactly how their desires will materialize. But this approach only creates frustration and delays the manifestation. The mind becomes entangled in unnecessary details, doubting whether the desire will come at all. However, true creation does not require struggle, it requires faith. The moment you decide that your wish is already yours, the unseen forces of the universe begin working to bring it into reality. You do not need to figure out the how or when. You only need to trust that it is done. Think of a farmer who plants a seed. He does not dig up the soil every day, wondering if the roots are forming. He does not demand that the seed sprout at a specific hour or in a particular way. He knows that nature operates in its own perfect timing. His only job is to plant the seed and trust the process. In the same way, your desire is a seed planted in the fertile soil of your imagination. Once you have assumed its fulfillment, you must trust that it will manifest in the right way at the right time. Detachment is not about giving up on your desire. It is about releasing the need to control its unfolding. When you detach, you acknowledge that the manifestation is already done in the unseen realm, and you allow it to unfold without interference. This is the key to effortless creation. The more you cling to the need for immediate results, the more you push them away. But the moment you relax, knowing that the outcome is inevitable, it begins to move toward you with speed and ease. Doubt and impatience are the greatest obstacles to manifestation. When you question whether your desire will come, you send a signal that you do not truly believe in its reality. When you become anxious about when it will arrive, you shift into a state of lack, reaffirming that it is not yet here. This creates a cycle of frustration, where the more you focus on the absence of your desire, the longer it takes to appear. But when you detach and rest in the knowing that it is already done, you remove all resistance. You allow the unseen forces to arrange circumstances in ways you could never predict. It is not your responsibility to figure out the path. It is your responsibility to align with the feeling of already having received. Imagine yourself as the winner, as the one who has already attained their desire. How would you feel? How would you move through the world? What thoughts would occupy your mind? Embody that state now and let go of any need to question the process. Your belief is the only requirement. When you step into the state of already having, life must respond accordingly. The greatest manifestations often come in ways you never expected. This is why trying to control the process is futile. If you insist that your desire must come through a specific channel, in a specific time frame, you limit the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all things. But when you surrender the details and trust in the certainty of your wish fulfilled, the universe moves in ways beyond your comprehension. Unexpected opportunities, chance encounters, and seemingly random events align perfectly to bring your desire to fruition. Many who have mastered this principle have experienced what some call miracles. They did not strain, chase, or demand, they simply knew. They held their assumption with unwavering faith, detached from how it would come to pass, and watched as the world reshaped itself to match their inner conviction. This is the way of effortless creation. It is not about pushing, it is about allowing. It is not about force, it is about trust. If you are holding a desire in your heart, release all worry about how it will arrive. Let go of the timelines, the strategies, and the need for constant proof. Simply know that it is done, rest in the feeling of having already received it, and walk through life with the quiet confidence of one who has already won. The moment you detach, the moment you stop trying to force the process, you create space for the manifestation to flow effortlessly into your reality. Your inner speech is the architect of your reality. Every silent word you whisper within yourself is shaping the world around you, forming the circumstances you experience and the opportunities that come your way. What you say internally is not just idle thought. It is a command issued to the unseen forces of creation. If you wish to manifest anything, especially something as specific as winning, succeeding, or achieving a goal, your inner dialogue must reflect absolute certainty, not wishful thinking or desperation. Many people unknowingly sabotage their desires by allowing their inner speech to contradict what they seek to create. They may consciously affirm that they want something, but beneath the surface they are filled with doubt. They whisper thoughts like, "I hope this happens," or "I really need this to work," and in doing so they reinforce a state of lack. When you say, "I hope I win," you are declaring that you have not yet won. When you say, "I need this money so badly," you are affirming that you do not yet have it. The universe responds not to what you ask for, but to what you assume to be true. To manifest effortlessly, your inner speech must be in perfect alignment with your desired reality. Instead of saying, "I wish I could win," say, "I am so grateful that I have won." Instead of thinking, "I really need this money," shift to "Money flows to me with ease, and I always have more than enough." These silent words reprogram your subconscious mind to accept your desire as already fulfilled, and once that happens, your external world must conform. The key is to speak internally as though the wish is already accomplished. When you engage in mental conversations, do so from the perspective of one who already possesses what they seek. If wealth is your goal, speak to yourself as someone who already enjoys abundance. If success is your desire, let your inner speech reflect the confidence and security of one who has already achieved it. The more consistently you do this, the more your mind will accept it as fact, and the world will shape itself to match. There is no room for contradictions in this process. You cannot spend a few moments affirming your success and then go about your day worrying, doubting, or complaining about your current circumstances. Your dominant state of mind is what manifests, not the occasional moments of positive thinking. If you say, "I am wealthy," but then worry about bills, you have negated your affirmation. If you say, "I am successful," but then dwell on failure, you have spoken against your own creation. It is important to be mindful of not only your words, but also your feelings as you say them. Words alone mean nothing if they do not carry conviction. You must feel the truth of what you are saying. If you affirm wealth but feel lack, then your dominant state remains one of scarcity. But when your inner speech is filled with certainty and backed by genuine emotion, you shift into the reality where your desire is inevitable. Many do not realize that they are constantly engaged in inner dialogue. From the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep, your mind is talking, reacting, and shaping your experience. If you do not take control of this dialogue, it will be controlled by past conditioning, fears, and external influences. You must become conscious of every word you say to yourself and deliberately shape it to reflect only what you wish to experience. The world outside is merely a reflection of your inner state. When you train your inner speech to align with your ideal life, you will notice that things begin to shift. Doors that once seemed closed will open effortlessly. People, opportunities, and circumstances will rearrange themselves in ways you could never have predicted. This is not coincidence. It is the natural law of creation at work. Discipline your inner voice. Each time you catch yourself thinking thoughts of doubt, replace them immediately with statements of certainty. If you feel yourself slipping into a mindset of worry, redirect your focus to the assumption that all is well. Do this consistently, and soon it will become second nature. Your inner speech will naturally reflect only what you desire, and your world will have no choice but to mirror it back to you. There is nothing outside of you that holds power over your destiny. The power is within you, in the words you speak to yourself in silence. When those words are aligned with certainty, nothing can stop your desires from manifesting. Speak only from the end, whisper only the truth of your success, and watch as the world bends to match your inner reality. Gratitude is the final seal that locks in your manifestation, the quiet but powerful force that affirms, "It is done." When you express thanks as if the blessing has already arrived, you shift from a state of wanting to a state of having. You move beyond hoping and wishing into knowing and certainty. Gratitude is not merely a polite acknowledgement. It is the ultimate declaration of faith. It tells the universe that you are already in possession of your desire. And because your world is only a reflection of your inner state, reality must adjust to match that assumption. Many believe gratitude is something to be expressed only after receiving what they want. They wait until the money is in their hands, the opportunity has materialized, or the success is evident before they feel thankful. But gratitude, when used as a tool of manifestation, is not a response to something happening. It is the cause of it happening. By feeling grateful before you physically see the outcome, you set in motion the forces that bring it into existence. Gratitude is a state of completion. It is the feeling of already having, already being, already experiencing. It is the secret ingredient that turns a desire into reality, because it shifts your mind from "I wish I had" to "I am so grateful that I have." When you persist in this feeling, the world cannot contradict it. It must conform. To manifest effectively, gratitude must be deeply felt, not just mechanically spoken. Simply saying, "I am grateful for my wealth," while still feeling lack, will not create the shift. The words alone do not have power, the feeling behind them does. When you express gratitude, let it flood your entire being. Imagine the moment of receiving exactly what you desire and allow yourself to feel the same joy, relief, and excitement as if it were happening right now. Dwell in that state. Carry it with you throughout your day. The more real it feels internally, the faster it will externalize. When you wake up, begin your day by giving thanks for what you desire as if it were already yours. Before even getting out of bed, affirm, "I am so grateful for the abundance in my life. I am thankful that money flows effortlessly to me. I appreciate the wealth that is already mine." Say it with certainty, as though you are merely recognizing what already exists. Then move through your day holding that same attitude. When thoughts of doubt creep in, counter them with gratitude. If you start to feel impatient, return to a state of thankfulness. Gratitude neutralizes resistance. When you are truly grateful, you do not feel desperate. You do not feel anxious. You are not looking at time wondering when your manifestation will arrive. You know it is already done. This relaxed state of certainty is what allows it to materialize effortlessly. The more you embody this feeling, the more quickly your world will reflect it back to you. Think of gratitude as a tuning fork. It aligns you with the frequency of your desire. When you vibrate in gratitude, you are in harmony with the reality where your wish is already fulfilled. You are no longer asking, pleading, or struggling. You are simply receiving. The moment you fully accept your desire as already accomplished and feel deep gratitude for it, you have successfully manifested it. The physical confirmation is simply a matter of time. Many people unknowingly delay their manifestations because they focus on what is missing rather than what is present. They dwell on what has not yet arrived instead of what they already have. Gratitude reverses this pattern. It shifts the focus from lack to abundance, from waiting to receiving. It reprograms the subconscious mind to accept your desired reality as the only reality. A powerful practice is to express gratitude for everything, even things that seem unrelated to your desire. When you cultivate a habit of thankfulness in all areas of life, you develop a natural state of abundance. Be grateful for the air you breathe, the opportunities that come your way, the small victories you experience each day. This keeps your mind trained on receiving rather than wanting. The more grateful you are, the more you open yourself up to receive even greater blessings. The gratitude also carries an energy of generosity. When you feel abundant, you naturally extend that abundance to others. This creates a cycle where what you give out returns to you multiplied. When you are grateful for wealth, you radiate the energy of prosperity, and prosperity must return to you. When you are grateful for love, you attract more love into your life. Whatever you appreciate expands. Your manifestation is sealed the moment you stop asking for it and start being thankful for it. When you live in a state of gratitude, you are no longer hoping or waiting, you are experiencing. This is the key to effortless creation. Express thanks as though your blessing has already arrived, and watch as the world rearranges itself to match your assumption. In the end, everything comes down to your inner state. Reality is not something that happens to you, it is something that responds to you. When you understand this, you stop chasing, forcing, or doubting. You begin to see that your thoughts, your feelings, and your assumptions shape every experience you have. The key to manifestation is not struggle or effort, but alignment. When you feel as though you already have what you desire, when you assume the end as done, when you detach from the how and when your inner speech reflects certainty, and when gratitude seals your assumption, you step into the life that was always waiting for you. You do not need permission. You do not need to beg or plead. You simply need to align, believe, and receive. The world will not deny you what you have already claimed within. All that remains is for you to stand firm in the knowing that it is already yours. Thank you for listening, and may you always walk in the certainty of your desires fulfilled. There is a power in silence that few understand. Most people believe that in order to achieve, they must speak, push, and strive. But this is not the way. The greatest manifestations in life happen not through effort, but through stillness, through the quiet conviction that what you seek is already on its way. You do not need to announce your desires to the world. You do not need validation from others. Everything you long for is already moving toward you the moment you accept it within. The only thing that can delay it is your own doubt, your own restless need to force things into place. When a seed is planted in the earth, it does not grow faster if you keep digging it up to check on it. It flourishes in darkness, in stillness, beneath the soil where no one sees. Your desires are the same. The moment you declare them to yourself and feel them as real, they take root in the unseen. But if you constantly seek reassurance, if you doubt, if you speak too soon, you disrupt their natural unfolding. You do not need to chase, beg, or plead. You only need to be, to assume in silence that it is already done. That wealth, that love, that peace you seek, it is already yours the moment you claim it within. Stay silent, do not discuss it, do not allow the world to shape your vision. Hold your belief steadfastly as if it were a sacred treasure hidden in your heart. What belongs to you will find you, not by force, but by the certainty of your quiet knowing. You do not need to manipulate reality, because reality is already responding to you. It is shifting, rearranging, and aligning itself with your inner world. The only question is, are you still enough to allow it? Everything you desire is already seeking you. Stay silent, stay sure, and watch as everything comes to you naturally. Silence holds a power that few recognize. In a world that glorifies noise, movement, and constant striving, silence is often misunderstood as inaction, as if nothing is happening when all is still. But this is the greatest illusion. The most profound shifts do not occur in the chaos of external effort, but in the quiet depths of inner stillness. It is in this silence that true creation unfolds, where desires take form, and where the unseen becomes seen. Everything you seek begins in the invisible, in the realm beyond speech and action. When you speak too soon, when you seek external validation or rush to make things happen, you disrupt the natural order of manifestation. The moment you withdraw from the noise of the world and enter the stillness within, you align yourself with the creative force that governs all things. It is not through struggle that the seed grows into a tree, nor through force that the stars align. The same principle applies to your life. What is meant for you takes shape in the silence of your being, long before it materializes in the physical world. Consider how nature moves effortlessly. The river does not push to reach the ocean, it simply flows. The sun does not announce its arrival each morning, it simply rises. There is no need for explanation, no need for noise. Everything unfolds in perfect order because it follows an inherent intelligence, a silent knowing that governs its course. You too are a part of this same order. When you embrace silence, you move in harmony with the forces that create worlds. You allow what is yours to come to you naturally, without resistance, without struggle. But most people fear silence. They mistake stillness for stagnation. They believe that if they are not constantly taking action, speaking about their desires, or seeking external confirmation, nothing is happening. This is where they go wrong. The greatest transformations take place in the unseen. Just as a caterpillar undergoes its metamorphosis in the cocoon, hidden from view, your life is shifting and aligning itself in ways beyond your perception. The only thing required of you is trust. Trust in the unseen. Trust in the silence. When you truly understand this, you will no longer feel the need to explain yourself. You will no longer feel the need to prove anything to anyone. Instead, you will embody a quiet confidence, a deep inner knowing that what you desire is already yours. You will no longer be swayed by doubt or the opinions of others, for you will have built your foundation in something far greater, something unshakable. Silence does not mean doing nothing. It means doing the most important work of all. It means aligning your inner world so completely that the outer world must follow. It means withdrawing from the distractions that scatter your energy and focusing entirely on your inner state. Every great achievement, every profound manifestation begins in this space. Not in noise, not in frantic action, but in the quiet certainty of your own being. If you want love, do not chase it. Become it in silence, and it will find you. If you want success, do not beg for opportunities. Assume the feeling of success within, and the doors will open. If you want peace, do not seek it outside yourself. Dwell in the stillness of your own mind, and the world will reflect it back to you. This is the secret that the world does not teach. It tells you to work harder, to strive, to push against the current. But the truth is simpler. Withdraw from the noise, step into stillness, and know that everything is already in motion on your behalf. The moment you do, you will witness the effortless unfolding of all that you desire, not by force, not by struggle, but naturally, in perfect harmony, just as it was always meant to be. Desperation is the very thing that pushes away what you seek. The more you chase, the further your desires seem to slip from your grasp. It is not because you are unworthy or because life is unfair, but because desperation is rooted in lack, and lack can only create more lack. The moment you believe you must force an outcome, you affirm to yourself that it is not already yours. And in doing so, you create resistance to receiving it. There is an unseen order to everything in life, a natural flow that is always working on your behalf. But when you become desperate, when you attempt to control and manipulate how things unfold, you move against that flow. You interfere with the very forces that are trying to bring you what you desire. Imagine holding water in your hands. If you squeeze too tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you remain open, the water stays with you. The same is true for the things you long for. They do not respond to force, they respond to alignment. When you desperately seek something, whether it be love, success, or financial abundance, you send out an energy of neediness, of fear that it may never come. This energy repels the very thing you want. But when you let go, when you trust that what is meant for you is already finding its way, you create space for it to arrive naturally. Letting go is not giving up. It is stepping into a state of knowing. It is understanding that what is truly yours cannot be lost, and what is not meant for you will never stay, no matter how tightly you hold onto it. Consider the times in your life when things have come effortlessly, when opportunities appeared as if out of nowhere, when love found you without struggle, when solutions arose just as you stopped searching for them. This was not a coincidence. It was the result of being in a state of ease, of trusting the process instead of resisting it. The universe moves in response to your inner state. If you believe you must fight for what you want, you create a reality where struggle is necessary. But if you accept that everything is already aligning for you, you shift into a reality where things come with ease. Letting go of desperation requires a shift in perception. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who must chase, start seeing yourself as someone who attracts. Instead of believing you must prove your worthiness, know that you are already worthy. Instead of fearing that your desires will never come, rest in the certainty that they are already on their way. The moment you stop needing something to happen, you remove the very barriers that were preventing it from manifesting. This does not mean you do nothing. It means you take inspired action from a place of confidence rather than fear. When you are desperate, every action you take is tainted with anxiety and doubt. But when you move from a place of knowing, your actions become powerful and effortless. You are no longer grasping, you are allowing. You are no longer chasing, you are receiving. There is a power greater than words, greater than effort, greater than anything the world teaches you to rely on. Inner conviction. This silent, unshakable knowing is what moves mountains, bends reality, and aligns circumstances in your favor. Most people believe they must explain themselves, convince others, or shout their desires into existence. But true creation happens in stillness. It is not what you say that shapes your life. It is what you believe with absolute certainty. When you possess deep inner conviction, there is no need to seek validation, no need to announce your desires or prove yourself. The moment you truly know something to be yours, without doubt, the world must arrange itself to reflect that assumption. This is the law of consciousness. Everything you experience is a reflection of your internal state. And when you silently embody the feeling of already having what you seek, life has no choice but to conform. Consider how nature operates, effortlessly, without declaration. The seed does not need to proclaim that it will become a tree. It simply knows its purpose and unfolds accordingly. The sun does not need to announce its rise. It simply appears. Likewise, your desires are already in motion the moment you assume their reality within yourself. The external world is nothing more than a mirror, reflecting back the convictions you hold within. But most people struggle because they do not trust the unseen. They look for immediate proof, they seek reassurance, and in doing so, they weaken their own power. A person who truly believes does not look outside themselves for confirmation. They do not question, they do not waver, they simply know. This knowing is what draws everything to them effortlessly. Think of the most confident, successful people you have ever encountered. Their power is not in their words, but in their energy. They do not need to tell you who they are. You can feel it. Their presence alone commands attention because they embody certainty. They have already assumed their success, their worth, their place in the world, and as a result, life molds itself around that belief. You must become this way with your desires. If you want love, embody the feeling of being deeply loved. If you want wealth, carry yourself as if abundance is already yours. If you want success, assume the role of a successful person in your mind long before the world acknowledges it. This is not about arrogance or pretending, it is about aligning with the reality you wish to experience. When you do, the external world will follow. The greatest mistake people make is thinking that words or excessive action will force things to happen. But force only creates resistance. The more you try to convince the world of something, the more you reveal your own doubt. If you truly believed, would you need to prove it? Would you need to announce it? Or would you simply walk in quiet confidence, knowing that what is yours cannot be denied? Silence is not inaction, it is the most powerful form of action. It is the quiet, invisible force that rearranges reality itself. When you stop explaining, stop seeking approval, and instead live in the knowing that your desire is already fulfilled, everything shifts. The people, opportunities, and circumstances necessary for its manifestation begin to appear effortlessly. This is the secret of true power. It does not come from noise. It comes from deep, unwavering certainty. Walk through life with the quiet confidence of someone who already has everything they desire. Speak less, believe more. Seek nothing outside yourself, for everything is already within you. And as you embody this truth, watch as life bends to match your inner conviction. The universe does not respond to effort, struggle, or desperation. It responds to faith. When you trust that what you seek is already on its way, you remove the barriers that have kept it at a distance. But when you attempt to force things into existence, you create resistance, making it harder for what is already meant for you to arrive. The key is to remain silent and unwavering in your belief, for it is this inner certainty that moves the unseen forces in your favor. Most people misunderstand the nature of creation. They believe they must work harder, push more, and chase after their desires with relentless effort. But force only leads to frustration. The more you push, the more reality pushes back. The more you chase, the more your desires seem to slip away. This is because force is rooted in doubt, and doubt only creates delay. Faith, however, is effortless. It does not struggle, it does not chase. It simply knows. And it is this knowing that brings things to you with ease. Think of how life flows naturally. The seasons change without effort, the sun rises and sets without struggle. A tree does not force itself to grow. It simply follows its nature, trusting in the process. The same principle applies to you. When you plant the seed of a desire in your mind and water it with faith, it must grow. But if you dig it up every day to check its progress, you interfere with the process, delaying the very thing you wish to see. Faith is not passive, it is the most powerful force in existence. It is the silent command that reshapes reality to match your inner state. When you believe without doubt, you create a direct path for your desire to reach you. But when you question, when you worry, when you look for signs of progress, you introduce resistance, slowing everything down. The universe is always listening, always responding to your dominant state of being. If you radiate certainty, it brings you what you expect. If you radiate doubt, it mirrors that back to you as well. Silence is the secret. Not silence in the sense of saying nothing, but silence in the sense of being undisturbed, unshaken by appearances. The moment you start explaining yourself, justifying your desires, or seeking reassurance from the outside world, you reveal that you do not fully trust. But when you remain composed, when you hold your belief without needing external validation, you send a signal of absolute confidence, and the universe responds to confidence. You may have noticed that the things you receive effortlessly are often the things you care the least about. This is because you hold no resistance toward them. You do not overthink them, you do not question whether they will come, you simply expect them, and they do. But for the things you deeply desire, you introduce hesitation, fear, and impatience. This is what slows the manifestation. The solution is to treat all desires with the same ease. Assume that what you want is already making its way to you, just as naturally as the air you breathe. Let go of the need to force results. Trust the timing of your life. If something is truly meant for you, no amount of resistance can keep it away. And if it is not, no amount of force will make it stay. Your only task is to align yourself with the knowing that what is yours is inevitable. Do not chase, attract, do not beg, assume, and do not doubt, believe. Remain silent in your conviction. Walk as if your desires are already fulfilled. Trust that what you seek is seeking you. And when you do, you will watch in amazement as everything falls into place, not through struggle, but through the effortless power of faith. Silence is not just a practice, it is a shield. It protects your vision from the doubts of the world, from the skepticism of others, and from the wavering tendencies of your own mind. When you keep your desires sacred, holding them in quiet confidence rather than announcing them prematurely, you allow them to grow undisturbed. The moment you speak too soon, you open the door to interference, inviting opinions, disbelief, and energies that can weaken your conviction. What is planted in secrecy flourishes in strength. Most people do not realize how fragile a newly conceived desire can be. When an idea is first born within you, it exists in its purest form, full of possibility, untainted by external doubts. But the moment you share it, you expose it to the limiting beliefs of others. You invite questions, skepticism, and unsolicited advice that can create uncertainty in your own mind. Even well-meaning people who may not fully understand the depth of your vision can unknowingly plant seeds of doubt. And once doubt enters, manifestation slows. There is a reason why the most powerful transformations happen in silence. Nature moves in secrecy. Seeds sprout beneath the soil before breaking the surface. A baby forms in the womb long before the world sees it. And the greatest shifts in consciousness occur within before they reflect outward. Your desires follow the same process. They need time to develop, to solidify within your consciousness before they can take shape in the external world. If you speak too soon, you disrupt their natural unfolding. Silence allows you to remain unwavering. The fewer voices involved in your vision, the stronger your belief remains. When you keep your desires to yourself, you do not have to defend them, explain them, or prove them to anyone. You simply nurture them in quiet confidence, allowing them to take root deeply within you. And when something is deeply rooted, it cannot be shaken by the doubts of the world. Think of the most successful, influential people. They do not announce their every move before it happens. They move in silence, working in the unseen until their results speak for them. The world only sees the finished manifestation, not the quiet conviction that created it. This is how you must operate, with the understanding that your desires are sacred and do not need external validation. Your words carry power, and where you direct them matters. When you speak of something prematurely, you scatter your energy, diffusing the concentrated belief that fuels your manifestation. But when you hold your vision in silence, you build momentum, strengthening its presence within you. It is this inner certainty that brings results, not the need to convince others of what is coming. Observe how the things you have kept to yourself have often unfolded more smoothly than those you have spoken about. This is because silence keeps you in alignment, free from external influence. The moment you share, you risk introducing conflicting energies, doubts, envy, or even unconscious resistance from those around you. But when you remain silent, your vision is protected. This does not mean you should live in secrecy out of fear, but rather out of wisdom. Choose carefully what you share and with whom. Not everyone is capable of holding the same belief in your vision as you do. Some will project their own limitations onto you, not out of malice, but simply because they cannot see what you see. And if you are not strong in your conviction, their doubts can become your own. Move in silence. Let your manifestations take form without interference. Nurture your desires as you would a delicate flame, shielding them from the winds of doubt. Trust that what is meant for you does not need outside confirmation. It only needs your unwavering belief. And when the time is right, the world will see the results, but by then, your conviction will be so strong that nothing can shake it. Keep your vision sacred. Let silence be your strength, and watch as everything unfolds effortlessly before you. Your reality is not shaped by the external world. It is a reflection of your internal state. Everything you experience, everything you see is a mirror of what is happening within you. The moment you shift internally, your outer world must conform. Transformation does not begin with action, effort, or force. It begins in the unseen. It begins in the quiet moments when you decide to think differently, believe differently, and see yourself in a new way. Most people live reactively, believing that they must change their circumstances in order to feel different. They try to fix the outside world without realizing that the true cause of their experience lies within. They chase opportunities, force relationships, and exhaust themselves trying to mold the external world to their liking, but nothing seems to work. The reason is simple. They are trying to rearrange the mirror instead of changing the reflection. A mirror does not create the image, it only reflects it. If you do not like what you see, you do not reach out and try to change the reflection, you adjust yourself. The same is true for your life. The world is simply a reflection of your dominant assumptions, beliefs, and inner state. The moment you shift inwardly, the outer world must shift to match. Transformation is not about forcing change, it is about becoming it. The moment you assume something to be true within yourself, the world begins rearranging itself to make that truth visible. But this process is often invisible at first. Just because you do not see instant results does not mean nothing is happening. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. There is a period of unseen growth where roots form beneath the surface. This is where most people give up. When they do not see evidence right away, they assume nothing is working and they revert back to their old ways. But those who understand how reality works remain still. They trust the process. They do not need instant validation because they know that transformation is inevitable. When you hold your inner shift with unwavering belief, the world has no choice but to align with it. The key is to remain silent in your conviction. Do not speak against your desire. Do not look for signs of progress with doubt in your heart. Do not allow the outside world to shake your inner state. If you have truly shifted within, then it is done. The rest is simply a matter of time. Have you ever noticed how life flows effortlessly when you are in alignment? When you stop forcing, when you stop doubting, things fall into place naturally. You meet the right people, opportunities arise, and everything seems to work in your favor. This is not luck. This is the result of being internally aligned with what you want. Your only task is to maintain that alignment. Stay still. Remain silent. Trust that the moment you shift within, the world is already in motion to reflect that shift. Do not seek, do not chase, do not beg. Simply be. Be the version of yourself that already has what you desire. Feel it, know it, embody it, and then let go. When you do this, you will witness the effortless unfolding of your reality. Circumstances will shift, people will change, and opportunities will appear, all without you having to force anything. The world is your mirror. The moment you change internally, everything must change to match. Everything you seek is already within you. The world is merely a reflection of your inner state responding to the silent convictions you hold. There is no need to chase, force, or beg for what is already yours. The moment you shift internally, when you let go of desperation, trust in the unseen, and remain unwavering in your belief, the external world must align accordingly. Silence is your greatest strength. It shields your vision from doubt, protects your manifestations from interference, and allows the universe to work effortlessly on your behalf. True power lies not in words, but in the quiet knowing that what you desire is inevitable. Stay still, remain silent, trust in the process, and watch as everything falls perfectly into place. Close your eyes for a moment and listen carefully. You are standing at the doorway of infinite possibility. The life you desire, the miracles you seek are not far from you. They are already here, waiting for your recognition. But here is the key. Nothing will change in your world until you change your inner state. You must act as if you are already the person who receives miracles effortlessly. Not tomorrow, not in the distant future, but now. Step into the version of yourself who already lives in abundance, who already walks in divine favor, who already holds in their hands the blessings they once wished for. How does this person think? How do they feel? How do they move through life? They are not begging, hoping, or doubting. They are walking in certainty, knowing that what they desire is already theirs. They radiate confidence. They are unshaken by circumstances, for they know that external reality bends to the force of their assumption. You are a magnet to miracles. The moment you believe you are, the energy you send out is the energy that returns to you. If you dwell in lack, in fear, in uncertainty, you will draw more of the same. But the moment you shift, when you feel abundance within, when you act as if you already have what you seek, the universe has no choice but to deliver it to you. Do not chase, do not beg, do not struggle. Instead, rest in the knowing that it is done. Walk with gratitude as if you are merely waiting for reality to catch up with what is already true in your imagination, because that is exactly how it works. Your only task is to hold firm in the unseen reality, to refuse to waver, to refuse to entertain doubt. When you persist in the feeling of having, the seen world must bow to the unseen. What was once invisible will become tangible. So today, rise with confidence, step into your power, carry yourself as the one who effortlessly attracts miracles, because the truth is, you already do. Everything you see, everything you experience is a direct reflection of your inner world. The reality you call life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, dictate the shape of your world. Nothing exists outside of you that did not first take form within you. The moment you grasp this truth, you unlock the power to transform your life entirely. Look around you. The circumstances, the people, the opportunities, or the lack thereof. Each one is a manifestation of the beliefs you hold about yourself and the world. If you believe the world is unfair, it will show you unfairness. If you believe you are always struggling, struggle will follow you. But if you assume that life flows effortlessly in your favor, it must do so. There is no escape from this law, and once you truly understand it, you will see that you have been creating your life all along, whether you realized it or not. Many people believe they are at the mercy of external forces, that their success or failure depends on luck, effort, or circumstances beyond their control. But this is not true. Reality does not shape you, you shape reality. The assumptions you hold deep in your subconscious are constantly being reflected back to you. If you assume that people are kind and generous, you will meet kind and generous people. If you assume that money is difficult to come by, you will always find yourself in situations where financial struggle is present. It is not the world acting against you. It is simply responding to what you believe. The moment you decide to assume differently, to consciously shift your inner world, everything around you begins to change. The process is simple but requires unwavering faith. You must assume that you are already living the life you desire, that what you seek is already yours. This is not about wishing or hoping, it is about knowing. It is about walking through life as if your dream is already a fact. Do not look to the outside world for confirmation first. The world is only a mirror, and mirrors do not change until you change what they are reflecting. Many people make the mistake of waiting for their circumstances to shift before they allow themselves to feel differently. They wait for money to appear before they feel wealthy. They wait for love to arrive before they feel love. But this is working against the law of assumption. You must feel it first, embody it first, and only then will it appear in your experience. If you assume you are successful, success will find you. If you assume you are loved, love will appear in your life in ways you never expected. There is no effort required, no force needed. Reality has no choice but to reflect what you persistently assume to be true. It is the law, and it works every single time. Doubt is the only thing that can delay the process. If you assume something in one moment, but then allow fear and uncertainty to creep in, you are undoing your own creation. This is why persistence is key. You must remain in the state of your assumption, refusing to waver, refusing to react to the old reality that may still be lingering for a short while. Imagine yourself already living in your desired state. Feel the emotions, see the details. Live in that world mentally until it feels as natural as your current circumstances. And then, simply continue living from that place, knowing that the external world must conform. There is no need to struggle, no need to force things to happen. Just assume it, believe it, and persist in it. The world is your mirror, and when you change within, everything outside must follow. There is a vast difference between wanting something and knowing it is already yours. Most people spend their lives in a state of longing, hoping, and wishing. Yet they do not realize that by doing so they are reinforcing the very absence of what they desire. To attract miracles, you must move beyond the feeling of wanting and step into the feeling of already having. This is the key that unlocks everything. Desire is natural, but when it is accompanied by desperation, doubt, or a sense of lack, it only pushes what you want further away. You cannot be in a state of need and a state of receiving at the same time. The moment you declare, "I need this," you are affirming that you do not have it. And if you do not have it internally, the external world cannot bring it to you. The universe does not respond to your words alone. It responds to your state of being. Shift your awareness. Instead of feeling the lack of your desire, feel the fulfillment of it. Close your eyes and imagine that what you seek has already manifested. How do you feel? What emotions rise within you? Relief, excitement, gratitude? These feelings are the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. The more you dwell in them, the more you align yourself with the reality where your desire is already a fact. This is not about pretending, it is about knowing. When you truly feel something is real, your mind and body accept it as truth. You no longer chase, no longer worry, no longer question. You simply rest in the certainty that it is done. And in that state of certainty, unseen forces begin to move. Doors open where there were none before. Circumstances shift. People appear at the right time. Everything aligns effortlessly, not because you forced it, but because you became a match to it. Look at your own life. Think of times when things came to you easily, without struggle. Chances are, in those moments, you were not worrying about how they would happen. You simply assumed they would. Maybe you expected a call and it came. Maybe you needed an opportunity and it appeared just in time. These moments were not coincidences. They were proof of the power of assumption and feeling. On the other hand, think of the things you have chased desperately, the ones you felt you needed the most, the ones you constantly worried about. Did they come easily, or did they seem to slip further away the more you wanted them? This is because neediness creates resistance. The energy of lack repels the very thing you seek. To truly receive, you must relax into the knowing that it is already yours. Carry yourself as if your wish has already been granted. Let your thoughts, your actions, your emotions reflect that inner conviction. If you were already wealthy, how would you feel? If you were already loved, how would you move through the world? Begin embodying that version of yourself now, and reality will rearrange itself to match. Miracles do not come to those who beg for them. They come to those who expect them. There is nothing you need to force, nothing you need to chase. Your only task is to assume the feeling of already having. The moment you shift into that state, the universe has no choice but to respond in kind. What was once unseen becomes visible. What was once a dream becomes reality. It is not a matter of if. It is only a matter of time. The greatest obstacle to receiving your miracle is the need to control how it will unfold. Most people, once they set a desire in motion, immediately shift into a state of worry, questioning every detail. When will it happen? How will it happen? Who will make it happen? They analyze, strategize, and try to manipulate circumstances, believing that their intervention is necessary. But in doing so, they unknowingly create resistance, pushing their desire further away. The mind, conditioned to seek certainty, clings to the idea that it must know every step before trusting the outcome. But this very need for control is what delays the manifestation. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust the process. You water it, give it sunlight, and let nature take its course. You do not micromanage how the roots form or how the leaves will unfold. You simply know that growth is happening beneath the surface. The same principle applies to your desires. The moment you assume it is already yours, the process has begun. Your only task is to remain in the state of already receiving, rather than slipping into the mindset of waiting. Waiting implies separation. It suggests that what you desire is somewhere in the future, just out of reach. But the truth is, your miracle exists now. It is simply in an unseen form. The more you align with the feeling of already having it, the more quickly it materializes in your world. The moment you step into doubt, fear, or impatience, you signal to the universe that you do not truly believe in the reality of your desire, and thus you delay its arrival. Many people ask, but what if I do nothing? Won't I miss my opportunity? They misunderstand the process. Detachment from the how does not mean inaction. It means inspired action. When you are truly living in the state of already receiving, the right steps will naturally present themselves. You will feel nudged in certain directions, meet the right people, or suddenly have an idea that propels you forward. This is not the same as forcing or chasing. It is effortless alignment. Think back to moments in your life when something worked out perfectly without you even trying. Perhaps you were thinking about someone and they called. Perhaps you needed an answer and it appeared in an unexpected way. These moments were not coincidences. They were proof that when you release control, the universe orchestrates the details in ways far greater than you could have planned. If you try to dictate the how, you limit infinite possibilities to only what your logical mind can conceive. But what if the universe has a better, faster, more effortless way? What if the person you believe is essential to your success is not actually the one meant to bring it to you? What if the money you seek is destined to arrive through a completely unexpected avenue? When you insist on one specific path, you block all others. But when you surrender the how and trust that it is already done, you open the floodgates for miracles to unfold in ways beyond your imagination. Detach from the need to know. Let go of timelines. Stop checking for signs. Simply live as though your desire has already manifested. Feel the gratitude, the peace, the joy of already receiving. Move through your day with the quiet confidence that it is happening even if you cannot yet see it. And then, when you least expect it, the unseen will become seen. The miracle you once hoped for will simply be a natural part of your reality. Not because you chased it, but because you allowed it. The secret to manifesting anything you desire lies in one simple truth. You must live in the end. You must assume the feeling of already having what you seek, embodying the reality you wish to experience. Most people make the mistake of living in the present circumstances and reacting to them, rather than assuming the state of their fulfilled desire. They look at what is, and because they see lack, they continue to reinforce it. But reality is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state, and the moment you persist in the conviction that your desire is already yours, the world must rearrange itself to match that assumption. Living in the end is not about daydreaming or wishful thinking. It is about complete inner conviction. It is walking, talking, and thinking as though what you seek has already happened. When you shift into this state, you are no longer waiting, hoping, or wondering if it will come. You know it is done. And when you know something to be true, You act differently. You carry yourself with certainty. You no longer seek external validation because you are no longer questioning whether it will manifest. You are simply waiting for reality to catch up. Imagine for a moment that your desire has already come to pass. How would you feel? How would you think? How would you move through the world? If you were already in your dream relationship, would you still feel lonely? If you were already financially abundant, would you still worry about bills? If you were already successful, would you doubt yourself? No, you would feel at peace, fulfilled, and secure. That feeling is what you must step into now, before any physical evidence appears. Most people believe they must first see results before they can feel the reality of their desires. But this is an illusion. The truth is, the moment you shift internally, the external world follows. If you persist in your assumption, reality has no choice but to reflect it. This is not wishful thinking, it is a fundamental law. Just as a mirror cannot show you a different reflection until you change your expression, life cannot present you with a new reality until you change your internal state. Many people say, "But I don't see any evidence. How can I believe something that isn't here yet?" That is precisely why they remain stuck, because they are waiting for the world to convince them instead of convincing themselves first. The key is to stop looking at the external world for confirmation and instead trust the power of your own imagination. If you can experience it inwardly, it must materialize outwardly. Think of an actor playing a role. The more deeply they embody the character, the more convincingly they become it. They do not hesitate, second guess, or break character. They fully step into the role. You must do the same with your desires. Step into the role of the person who already has what they seek. Move through the world as if it is already done. If you persist, soon enough, the illusion of separation will dissolve, and what was once just a thought will become your tangible reality. Doubt and fear may arise, but they are only remnants of the old self, the old story. Do not give them power. Remind yourself that the external world is only a reflection of past assumptions, and your new state will soon replace it. Be unwavering in your conviction. Let every thought, every action, every feeling align with the reality you desire. And as you remain steadfast in living, in the end, your world will shape itself around your belief. It is only a matter of time before you open your eyes and realize that what once existed only in your imagination is now the undeniable truth of your life. What you see in front of you is not the truth. It is only a reflection of past thoughts, past beliefs, and past assumptions. The external world is not fixed, nor is it an independent force dictating your life. It is a mirror shaped entirely by the state of your inner being. If you allow the present moment to define what is possible, you will continue to recreate the same experiences over and over again. But if you dare to ignore what is in front of you and instead persist in the unseen reality of your choosing, the world must bend to match your conviction. Most people live reactively. They see their circumstances and assume they have no choice but to accept them. If they are struggling financially, they feel lack and believe that lack must continue. If they are alone, they feel loneliness and assume love is far away. But what they fail to understand is that these conditions persist only because they continue to accept them as real. The moment they withdraw their attention from what is and shift their focus to what will be, reality begins to shift. Ignoring the current reality does not mean denying its existence. It means refusing to be bound by it. It means understanding that what you see now is nothing more than an echo of past assumptions. The job you dislike, the relationship you lack, the limitations you perceive, these are not permanent, nor are they an accurate reflection of what is possible for you. They are simply manifestations of old thoughts, old beliefs, and old emotional states. The moment you stop feeding them with your attention, they begin to dissolve, making way for something new. Many people struggle with this concept because they believe that what they see is more real than what they imagine. They trust in the physical world more than they trust in the power of their own mind. But the truth is, everything you now experience was once unseen. Every building you walk into, every piece of technology you use, every breakthrough in human history, it all began as an idea, an unseen reality that someone dared to believe in. If those visionaries had only accepted the current reality, nothing new would have ever come into existence. You must become just as bold in your own life. You must be willing to see beyond appearances, beyond limitations, beyond temporary conditions. The key is to persist in the unseen reality until it becomes seen. If you want wealth, you must assume the state of abundance, even while your bank account says otherwise. If you want love, you must carry the feeling of being deeply cherished even while you are alone. If you want success, you must embody the confidence and certainty of someone who has already achieved it. This is not delusion, it is creation. Most people give up too soon. They look around, see no evidence of change, and assume their desires are not working. They waver, they doubt, and in doing so they return to the same state that created their current circumstances. But those who persist, those who refuse to be swayed by the outer world, are the ones who witness miracles. They know that the unseen is more real than the seen, and because of this, they do not need immediate proof. They trust the process. They understand that the physical world takes time to reflect inner change, just as a seed takes time to break through the soil. The greatest power you have is the ability to direct your focus. If you continue to observe and react to what is, you will remain stuck in it. But if you choose instead to dwell in the unseen, to persist in the reality you desire, the world must rearrange itself to match your vision. This is an unbreakable law. What you focus on expands. What you believe in hardens into fact. Ignore the distractions of the present moment. See beyond them. Hold your vision unwaveringly, and soon what was once invisible will become undeniable. Gratitude is not just a polite expression of thanks. It is a force that aligns you with the very reality you seek to create. When you express gratitude as if your miracle has already arrived, you step into the state of having rather than the state of lack. Most people wait until they see their desires materialize before they feel grateful. But this is backward. The key to attracting more of what you want is to feel the gratitude now. Before any physical evidence appears, this shifts your inner state and changes the vibration you emit, drawing your desires to you with effortless precision. Imagine for a moment that the thing you have been longing for is already yours. The success, the wealth, the love, the healing, it has already happened. How would you feel? There would be no anxiety, no doubt, no hesitation. Instead, you would feel deep appreciation, a sense of peace, and an unshakable knowing that life is unfolding perfectly. That is the exact feeling you must cultivate in the present moment, regardless of what your senses tell you. The more you embody that feeling, the more quickly reality must rearrange itself to reflect your assumption. Gratitude is a magnet because it shifts your focus from lack to abundance. When you constantly notice what is missing, you reinforce its absence. You tell the universe, I don't have this yet, and so it continues to be missing from your life. But when you choose to focus on what you already have, and even more powerfully on what you assume you already have, you send a different message. I am abundant. I am blessed. I have all that I need. And reality, being nothing more than a reflection of your inner state, must comply. The mind is conditioned to seek external proof before accepting something as true. But true manifestation requires the opposite. You must first believe it within, feel it as real, and then watch as the world catches up. Gratitude is the bridge that connects your current state to your desired reality. When you give thanks in advance, you affirm to yourself and to the universe that what you seek is already yours. You dissolve the energy of waiting, hoping, or striving, and instead, you step fully into the energy of having. Some may wonder, how can I be grateful for something I do not yet see? The answer is simple. Because the moment you assume something as real in your consciousness, it is already in motion. Just as a seed planted in the soil is already growing before it breaks the surface, your desires are already forming the moment you claim them as yours. You may not see them immediately, but they are there, unfolding in perfect timing. Gratitude acts as the water and sunlight that nourish the seed, accelerating its growth. If you want to attract miracles, practice gratitude as if they have already arrived. Wake up every morning and say, "Thank you for my success. Thank you for my health. Thank you for the love that surrounds me." Do not say it as a wish or a request. Say it as a statement of fact. Feel it in your body. Let your heart swell with appreciation. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. And soon your subconscious mind will accept it as reality. And once your mind accepts it, the external world must follow. This is not just theory, it is a law. You will always receive more of what you focus on. When you complain, dwell on problems, and feel frustrated about what is missing, you multiply those conditions. But when you shift to gratitude, when you see every moment as a blessing and every desire is already fulfilled, you unlock the flow of abundance. Miracles become your normal state, and life begins to unfold with effortless grace. Gratitude is not a reaction to what has already happened. It is the cause of what will happen next. Choose to live in the energy of having, and watch as the universe reflects it back to you in ways more wonderful than you could have ever imagined. Everything you desire is already within your reach. The key is not to chase, beg, or struggle, but to assume, feel, and embody the reality you seek. Your assumptions create your world, your emotions attract your experiences, and your unwavering faith shapes your destiny. When you act as if you are already a magnet to miracles, the universe has no choice but to reflect that truth back to you. Let go of doubt, detach from the how, walk in the end result, ignore the distractions of the present moment, and most importantly, cultivate gratitude as if your blessings have already arrived. Because the moment you believe it to be so, it is so. You are the creator of your reality. Trust in the unseen, persist in your conviction, and watch as miracles unfold before your very eyes. Thank you.